can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Time to rise and grind.
Are you kidding me? Holy un smoke!
And let's get this banter going.
It's bacon!
This is Snowman in the morning.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
And it begins now.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell,
I think I just broke my chair.
"He did what?"
Has anybody ever told you you have a
Impulse control problem!
There's but one course for me to follow. Almighty the bum!
And here we
Oh, yeah!
Kelly's one-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam! Howie Kendrick has done it! They're going crazy in the Nationals dugout. Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. The Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3. Do you believe it? There goes Altuve, first pitch, and Gurriel lines it down the left field line and deep, and that ball is gone! And it'll entry Stafford boxes. A 3-run home run for Yuli Gurriel, and the Astros jump out to a 3-0 lead.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Shallow right toward the line. Out goes Goldschmidt and Wong in the right fielder. Martinez coming in, and the ball drops! In from third is Soto to score. Everyone moves up one base. Robles on at first. Unbelievable! It's the Nationals 3 and the Cardinals nothing.
Here's the 0-1. Pretty well and pretty deep to left. Gardner is going back, looking up. See you later! A 3-run home run for Carlos Correa, and the Astros go up 6-1.
Here's the kick now. The pitch, fastball is hit in the air to left center field. Robles going for it. He's under it waiting, and he makes the catch. He makes the catch. Bang! Zoomed down. Fireworks. A National League Championship winning Curly W is in the box. And for the first time since 1953, we'll have a World Series in the nation's capital. The Nationals celebrate to the left of the mound. They come streaking out of the bullpen, and we'll say it now. Remember where you are, so you remember where you were at 8 minutes past 11 o'clock on October 15th, 2019, when you heard the Nationals have won the National League Championship, and they will play for the World Championship, the World Series to begin Tuesday night in a place to be determined, Houston or New York. Unbelievable!
Here's the 1. And that's driven deep to left center field. Gardner is back, looking up. See you later! See you later! Astros headed back to the World Series. Jose Altuve, a walk-off two-homer. And the Astros beat the Yankees 6-4. Win the ALCS 4-2.
There we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Monday edition, the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Coming to you live from North Carolina. And I couldn't be happier to be here. Welcome, everybody. We got a lot to get to this morning, and I need my glasses. Hold on a minute. I have to remember to put those things on. My wife keeps getting on me about it. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Going to talk some World Series. Going to talk NFL week number 7. And why the 49ers are still undefeated. And why they could possibly, I say, on the table. You never know what could happen in this crazy thing we like to call the NFL. We got a new call-in number for you. You see it on your screen if you're watching along with us on Facebook. The number is 773-672-3208. That's 773-672-3208. As I get everything else together here, you want to sponsor this here program and advertise with us, all you have to do, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That is snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Was thinking of a way to begin the morning, and I think I'll begin with some baseball. I'll begin with my Snowman's Take, and don't forget, every segment on this show is open for folks to sponsor, and if you want to, you can drop the email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. The World Series is set. It's the Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros. It is not the New York Yankees. It is not the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is not the Atlanta Braves, nor is it the St. Louis Cardinals that are competing for the World Championship. Wow. Jose Altuve's walk-off home run provided the difference in Game 6 as the Astros win that series 4-2, and I'm looking at my slate. That's actually later. And I got to begin with a different Snowman Take because I'm going off the board again. Why won't people understand that this is going to be a great World Series? That these two teams considered underdogs for most of the year, even though one had the most wins in the majors and the other backed their way into the playoffs by playing some hot baseball down the stretch. The Nationals were finished, done, kaput at 19-31. They were done. But then all of a sudden, they got it together and they said, you know what? They don't expect us to do anything. Let's give them a finish. And they finished right into the wild card game. They were playing the Milwaukee Brewers, and they were done there. Down 3-1. And then Juan Soto doubled home 3 runs. Mixon and Air, and the Nationals win 4-3. They go on to the division series the next night in Los Angeles. The turning point, I think, for the Nationals was them winning Game 5 of the division series. And before I go any further, let me credit Charlie Slows, Dave Jagler of the Nationals Network, and Robert Ford of the Astros Radio Network. You want to know the turning point for the Washington Nationals? It's this swing right here in the 10th inning.
Kelly's one-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam. Howie Kendrick has done it. They're going crazy in the Nationals dugout. Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3. Do you believe it?
Dave Jagler on the call for the Washington Nationals Radio Network. It was that swing right there, that swing, that propelled the Washington Nationals to win that division series, and they swept the St. Louis Cardinals by outpitching them. They really outpitched the Cardinals. As a matter of fact, the Cardinals only got they got a total of 6 runs in 4 games. Got there. 6 runs in 4 games while being outpitched by Al Sanchez, who flirted with a no-hitter, Max Scherzer, who flirted with a no-hitter, Steven Strasburg, who struck out 10+, and Patrick Corbin, who struck out 10+. Matter of fact, Scherzer, Corbin, and Strasburg become the first 3 pitchers on the same team during a league championship series to strike out at least 11. 11, and 12, I think the numbers were. That, my friends, is what you call dominant pitching. That is why the Nationals are in the World Series. Now, why are the Houston Astros in the World Series? Well, They got the best lineup in the majors. Despite what people love to tell me about the Yankees, and I'll get to them in a moment. Despite what people love to tell me about the New York Yankees having the best lineup, wrong answer. The best lineup belongs to the Houston Astros. It has always belonged all season long to the Houston Astros. And they put it Saturday night. They had a chance to win this series in 5 games, and kudos to the Yankees for their act together and winning Game 5 against Justin Verlander. All they did was delay the inevitable, in my opinion. They delayed the inevitable. Game 6 in Houston. I'll review that after the break, and I got a break coming up here in just a moment. You want to call the show? 773-672-3208 is the phone number that you need. But the Astros have had the best lineup. They've had the best pitching, and that is why they're in the World Series. When you got a little guy by the name of Jose Altuve that has more home runs at 5'6" than Aaron Judge, who's 6'7", in the playoffs, you got something going. This Astros core is terrific. Altuve, Correa, George Springer, Michael Brantley, you can throw him in there. And then they got a fantastic rookie by the name of Yordan Alvarez, who can tear the cover off the baseball. Wait till he gets a full year in with the Astros and see how dangerous they're really going to be with that murderer's row of a lineup. And they're so interchangeable. You can bat Altuve lead off. You can bat George Springer lead off. And they usually do change things up. I got folks wanting to call in and talk football. I'll talk football, but I want to get this out. I want to get this out of the way first. For people to think that this won't be a great World Series, I think you're crazy. I think you're absolutely crazy. You know, people want to think in terms of ratings. Oh, this won't be good for the ratings. Yes, it will. It most certainly will. You got 2 teams that played their hearts out to get to the World Series. Are they big market teams? No. But they're the 2 best teams that are remaining that are playing for the World Championship. Period. These are the 2 best teams remaining playing in the World Series for the World Championship that starts in Houston tomorrow. Howie Kendrick leads the Nationals. He was voted the league champion, the NLCS MVP. Jose Altuve was voted the ALCS MVP. And you get to see these 2 teams clash. But only one can remain standing. Will it take all 7 games? I don't know. I don't know if it'll take all 7 games. But I'm inclined to think that this is going to be a wonderful series. It's going to be, and I believe it's going to be an epic series. You got the 2 best pitching staffs going at it. If you like pitching, which is the core of baseball anyway, and too bad the Cleveland Indians or the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees, for that matter, couldn't figure that out, then I'm sorry. Since you couldn't figure it out, that's why you're sitting at home watching the thing. You know, Cleveland didn't even make the playoffs. Oops. They got rid of half of their pitching. Cleveland got rid of half of their pitching, including Trevor Bauer, who turned and fired a ball over the center field wall. That was his finest moment with the Cleveland Indians. And on top of that, I mentioned you got the 2 best staffs, you got the 2 best lineups, and you got 2 underdogs that are going to play for it all. The key to this series, I think, is going to be the bullpen. Alex of the National League Championship Series, but I close this segment by saying that's Snowman's take. It's going to be an epic World Series. What's yours? Tweet the show at SIT Morning. If you want to advertise with us, all you have to do, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Up next, you'll hear some highlights from Game 6 of the National League Championship Series and why the littlest guy on the field had the biggest swing. You'll hear that and then some when y'all get back. Snowman in the Morning, back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Next! Got a lot of folks tuning in on the Facebook feed. I thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for just having some fun with us. Oh, man. Lots more to get to. And let's get to some more baseball. The World Series is set. It's the Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros, courtesy of the Astros winning on Saturday night 6-4 on a walk-off. Yes, they did it on a walk-off home run. I thought I heard some feedback in my ears. I'm sorry about that, folks. Well, let's get to some highlights, shall we? These are courtesy of the Astros radio network. Robert Fords and company on the call. Gurriel got the Astros started.
There goes Altuve, first pitch, and Gurriel lines it down the left field line and deep, and that ball is gone! Into the Landry Crawford boxes, a 3-run home run for Yuli Gurriel, and the Astros step out to a 3-0 lead.
The Yankees got a run, made it 3-1. Astros got a run back, made it 4-1, and then the Yankees came all the way back to tie it at 4-4 on a 9th-inning home run by DJ LeMahieu. But the littlest man had the biggest swing as Jose Altuve not only ended the game, but ended the series.
Here's a 2-1. And that's driven deep to left center field. Gardner is going back. Looking. See you later. See you later. Astros headed back to the World Series. Jose Altuve, a walk-off 2-run homer. And the Astros beat the Yankees 6-4. Win the ALCS 4-2.
Robert Ford on the call for the Astros Radio Network. Yep, the littlest guy had the biggest swing. 5'6" of Jose Altuve. The League Championship Series MVP, mind you. Swung the Astros back into the World Series for the second time in 3 years. And the Astros win 4-2. They take care of big bad Yankees, which should prove once and for all, just because you think you have the better lineup, you don't. Garrett Cole is set to start for the Houston Astros. The Washington Nationals starting pitcher yet to be determined. We'll keep you updated on that. But folks, think about this. It doesn't matter. Well, Houston played a bullpen game against the Yankees. They didn't want to bring Garrett Cole out for Game 6 because it would have been too easy. It'd have been a bigger wipeout than it was. Oh my goodness. Well, that's that. Astros win 6-4. Disappointing. Jordan Alvarez is 1 for 22. Sharif, my good buddy Sharif is going to join me later in the show. Yes, Jordan Alvarez was 1 for 22, but he's part of a team that's in the World Series. I look at it this way. He's a rookie. They called him up. Love what he's done. They're going to stick with him. They're absolutely going to stick with him. And when this Jordan Alvarez, this big fella, really starts swinging the bat and really starts learning the game of baseball, learning pitchers, knowing who to trust and who not to trust, man, it's going to be something else. DJ LeMahieu's home run got the Yankees even, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's tough to describe. Once DJ hit that 2-run homer, battling a great at-bat by him, battling off tough pitchers on, one of the best closers in the game, man, I was impressive. That's why he's an MVP. He comes up big in situations like that.
But because of Altuve's swing, the Yankees think the season's a failure.
It's a failure. In spring training we talked about winning the division and putting ourselves in a good spot in the postseason, to win a World Series, and we came up short, and so it's no matter how many times we won the regular season or what else we did, the season's a failure.
What do you think? Do y'all think the season's a failure for the Yankees to win 103 games and they get to Game 6 of the American League Championship Series? I want to bring back a point that I first heard from Bob Wischusen of ESPN. This is because of a decision the Yankees made 3 years ago when they had chances to get the pitchers that will be on display in this World Series. Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Verlander, Cole, Greinke. They were all available for the New York Yankees to get 3 years ago, and they didn't get any of them. They did not get any pitching, and it cost them. I mean, yeah, they found a way to get to Verlander, and my buddy Tommy Williams will love this. Tommy, this one's for you. Yeah, they got Verlander for Game 5, but what do you do when you have a bullpen that is so strong that they can come together and get you through Game 6, and thanks to Jose Altuve, get you to the World Series? Yeah, gong. But he said the Yankees are going to be a force. No, they're not. If they don't, and I say this about the Yankees, I say Dodgers, I say this about the Cubs, the Indians, anybody who went through this and came up short of either in the playoffs or getting through the playoffs. When you don't have frontline pitching, you are in trouble. The two best examples are two of the best teams that are sitting at home watching this: the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Yankees are not going to be a force until they get some frontline pitching. Who are you going to trust? Masahiro Tanaka did his thing, but he could only go so far. CC Sabathia is done. He's retiring, and that's why I mean done. Are you really going to depend on Luis Severino Are you going to really depend on Luis Severino to get you 2 quality starts in the playoffs? He just proved that he didn't. And if you're a fan of the Boston Red Sox, you need some backline pitching, i.e. a closer, which Chris Sale should have been. I'm going to go there with the Boston Red Sox. Chris Sale should have been a closer after his injuries. The Yankees' mindset is title bust, and that's their biggest flaw. They haven't had they haven't taken the opportunity. They've had the opportunity. They haven't taken the opportunity to develop some great pitching outside of Severino, outside of Masahiro Tanaka. Who else do they have after that? That's why they lost this series. That's why the Houston Astros got them. Because Houston matched the Yankees pitch for 6 games. Houston matched the Yankees pitch for 6 games. Should have been 5 in my opinion, but hey, the Yankees got the job done in Game 5 in the Bronx. Back to the Red Sox as I jump around here. Why weren't the Red Sox successful? And I'll mention how about some playoff teams? The Oakland Athletics, the Tampa Bay Rays, who took Houston to 5 games. How bad does that make you feel if you're in the American League and the Tampa Bay Rays took Houston to the limit in the division series? The Astros send Garrett Cole out there, they take care of business, and then they knock off the 100-plus win Yankees in 6 games. How does that make you feel? Houston and Washington are proving something I have believed all along as a baseball fan. Pitching wins championships, period. The Red Sox had a lot of it last year. They didn't have enough of it this year. The Red Sox need a closer, and Chris Sale should have been that closer. Chris Sale was too inconsistent. That's part of why the White Sox got rid of him. He became too inconsistent. Attitude be damned. His inconsistency was a problem. A big problem. A big problem. Chris Sale closed out the 2018 World Series with a strikeout on that wipeout slider. Why wasn't he their closer in 2019? Why wasn't he given the closer's role? I know he wanted to be a starter, but Chris Sale, your best bet is to be a closer, especially with the pitchers with the pitches, I beg your pardon, that you have. Chris Sale should have been their closer. The Dodgers don't have a closer anymore because Kenley Jansen became too inconsistent. And on top of that, as far as the Dodgers are concerned, they had no bridge to get to him. You had pitchers that can go 1 through 6 with no problem. What about 7 and 8? Before you got to get through 7 and 8 before you get to 9. The 2 best pitching staffs are in the World Series, period. I'm going to say again, for the Dodgers fans up in the cheap seats at Chavez Ravine, all the Cub fans in the cheap seats at Wrigley Field, and for all the fans that are in the cheap seats at Jake Field, the 2 best pitching staff are facing off in the World Series tomorrow night in Houston, Texas. End of story. Now, I would love to hear the comments about it, and I know I'm going to get a lot of them. I know for a fact I'm going to win a lot of them. I'm going to get a lot of them. Game 1 of the World Series is tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park in Houston. The Washington Nationals and the Houston Astros will pitch. The exact time is 8:08 p.m. Eastern time from Minute Maid Park in Houston. And it's going to be a wonderful series. We'll break down we'll do a more detailed breakdown position by position. Anthony Rendon could play a big part of the World Series. You know Jose Altuve is going to play a big part of the series. Carlos Correa. We'll break it down. We'll break the 2 teams down tomorrow as we get you ready for Game 1 of the 2019 World Series. Want to advertise with us? All you have to do is drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. If you missed us live in the morning, you can catch the podcast daily from our friends at iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and other brands that carry our podcast. We're listed on over 12 applications, so you can get to any one of them, including Spreaker. Catch the podcast daily, beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. When we come back, it's the moment that y'all have been waiting for. I'm going to talk a little football, and the 49ers are still undefeated. How? I'll explain when y'all get back. I'll review 5 games, and then I'll talk to the people. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
That's
Excellent.
what?
Gonna open up the lines here pretty soon. Got some football reviews coming for you all in just a few moments. Oh man, having a good time. Having a good time with everybody. Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com if you want to advertise with us. Later on this week, I will do my top 5 in the NFL. Tomorrow, I will have my 2020 NBA preview, and I'll tell you why the West still goes through the Bay. I don't care what anybody says. The West still goes through the Bay Area. I'll explain why tomorrow. Now, let's do some football reviews, shall we? And before I even get started with the football reviews, I just want to say and add this. I don't believe what happened in some of the games yesterday, especially with the Cowboys blowing out the Eagles. I think the Eagles are finished. I don't want to say it. I really don't. But I think the Eagles are done and the Cowboys take over the lead in that division. But that's not one of the games that I have in mind to review. What I am going to start with is the 49ers winning 9-0 over the Washington Redskins in a very sloppy game. Sloppy. Let's see. It was a mud bath. It was a rainstorm. And the Niners get 3 field goals from Robbie Gould to win the game 9-0. And they are 6-0 for the first time since 1990. You hear me? 1990 is the last time the Niners were 6-0. And, of course, they get all the way to the NFC Championship, and they were beaten by a team that scored only field goals. Of course, I'm talking about Bill Parcells and the New York Giants in one of the greatest NFC Championship games ever. But the Niners are 6-0 for the first time since 1990. Robbie Gould has missed 7 field goals this year. 7. Most he's missed in a season during his career. And yet the 3 that he made were the 3 that were enough to get the 49ers over the top and still remain the lone NFC undefeated team. Let's go to Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis Colts get 324 passing yards from Jacoby Brissett, and they beat the Texans, or hold them off rather, 30-23. Brissett also tossed 4 touchdowns in the game yesterday, and with that win, the Colts take over the lead in the AFC South, and I said on Friday that game will decide the AFC South division. These two will meet each other again in Texas later in the year, but I think with this win, the Colts have sealed up the AFC South division. Let's go to Chicago, and I am very disappointed in the Chicago Bears. There are a couple about the Bears when I'm done with my reviews, but the Saints win 36-25. Don't let that 25 fool you. It was 36-10 until about 5 minutes remained, and then the Bears somehow got their act together to put 15 points on the board, but they were defeated well before that final score of 36-25. Teddy Bridgewater is 5-0 while replacing Drew Brees. 5-0. How's that for downing a team and they have the right people to make the right plays? Saints win 36-25. They moved to 6-1 on the year. Bears dropped to 3-3. How about Aaron Rodgers? 6 total touchdowns, including a rushing touchdown, 5 touchdown passes, 424 passing yards, and a perfect QBR as the Packers throttle the Raiders 42-24. Packers moved to 6-1 on the year. My buddy Chris Dietz checking us out on the Facebook page. Thank you, Dietz, for that. And, of course, the last game I'm going to review for you is an upset that I called on Friday. Student versus teacher. Lamar Jackson versus Russell Wilson. And I had a feeling Baltimore would go into Seattle and beat them. And when Russell Wilson threw that pick 6, that kind of sealed it for me. The Ravens win 30-16, and Lamar Jackson with his 4th career 100-plus yard rushing game. the Ravens made the right call when they started Lamar Jackson at the quarterback spot. Got a game you want me to review throughout the course of the year? Why don't you tweet the show at SIT Morning? That's at SIT Morning. That's Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. That's where you can find it. Also, speaking of YouTube, subscribe to the new channel Snowman Unfiltered, which is where you can see this show and where you can hear our weekly podcast of Snowman Unfiltered. Got some more stuff for you. I'll open the lines up when y'all get back. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Excellent.
Welcome back. We're close to the end of the first hour, headed for hour 2. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'll tell you why I'm laughing uncontrollably and hysterically. And I'll put this in the form of the question of the day. Can't even get the question out. I'm laughing so hard. My wife tagged me in a post on Facebook that is perfect for me. And I'm going way far to the left here, but she tagged me in a post and says, now you can see some more goofy sayings. And the picture that's in here is the Tim Hawkins Handbook, Alternative Cuss Words, Field Tested and Mother Approved. And they got three different columns here. Oh my heavens. This is let me listen. Y'all know my favorite comedian is George Carlin. Okay? Y'all know my favorite comedian is George Carlin. But and he had his in 1982 when he did Carlin at Carnegie, he had a whole bunch of lists of cuss words, none of which I'll repeat on this program. But this could rival that. Some of the words that are on the list here, I'll go down the first column when you're miffed. You got shucks, rats, gosh, shizzle, toot, crapola, turd, sheesh, flippin', phooey, tick, yeah. Those are mild. Those are mild. When you're exasperated, you got phrases like good gravy, good grief, gadzooks, jackwagon, bull snot. I think my mother said that once. Fiddle faddle, fiddlesticks, crud muffin, cotton pickin'. I never used that one. Malarkey, Mylana, what the hey? I used to hear that on a cartoon. Buckethead, shucky darn, dad burn, dag nabbit, consarted, and I've used those last two a lot. Confounded on a cartoon. Doggone it, which has become one of my favorite substitutes. Dad gummit, dad blasted, and I've used all of those. When you got son of a and you fill in the blank, and I'm going down the list here, son of a biscuit, son of a biscuit eater, son of a Baptist preacher. Who put this in here? Son of a nutcracker. And then you get to the column that's my favorite. I'm not having it. I'm only going to read the first one. Great googly moogly. Y'all remember the Snickers commercial that had that phrase? A guy was painting the end zone for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to find that commercial during the break before I open the phone lines. I'm going to find that commercial during the break. I swear I am. He's painting the end zone. And there you go, big dog. Shane Lake getting on the line. God dang it. Yep, I've used that too. Like I said, the guy's painting the end zone for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he misspells it. So one of the players comes up and says, that's great, but who are the chefs? And then they pan out, and they see him misspelling the word, and the announcer says, not going anywhere for a while. And all you hear is, great googly moogly. What are your favorite substitute cuss words? Shane, I know you're listening. Please put that on our social media. Put that on the Snowman in the Morning social media. What are some of your favorite substitute cuss words? Oh my gosh. When I got this tag from Dr. K during the break, I couldn't stop laughing. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop laughing, but I have to because I know some people want to call in and talk football. We'll do that at the top of the second hour. Great Caesar's Ghost. Geez Louise. I've used that one. Shut your pie hole. I'm a parent, and Dr. K's a parent. You ain't got to explain that. Y'all remember the show Alice? There's a phrase on here that relates to that show. Y'all remember this? Kiss my grits. I've used fart knocker. Yes, I have. Jumping Jehoshaphat. Heard it, never used it. HE double hockey sticks. Well, hell, I was hearing that in high school. Okay. Oh yeah, thank you, Shane. He brings King of the Hill into the conversation. Gotta love Hank getting pissed at Bobby. God dang it, Bobby. That's my best impression of Hank Hill. Oh man, this is the best. This is one of the best lists I've ever gotten, and I'm gonna try to use all of them. All right, so I can try to stop swearing. Okay, my wife and I both made a commitment to stop swearing, but doggone it. Oh, you want to hear another favorite? I see another favorite on this list. Bull Twinkies. You know what that's in place of, right? Farfanugan, yes, I've used that one too. For heaven's sake, for the love of Pete, for Pete's sakes, for crying out loud. Yep. But see, what I used in place of cuss words are teams that I hate. And I'm speaking as a fan. Teams that I hate are sometimes used as cuss words. I'll give an example. When I was growing up and I was loving the Chicago Bulls, I would sometimes there you go, Deets. My buddy Chris Dietz getting on the fun. Dietz, I may have you come on here in a little while. All shucks is always a good one. Yep, use that. I was shocked they forced turn. Oh, he's talking about the Cowboys. Dag nabbit. Yep, use that one too. But when I was growing up, and my dad would get on me about swearing, I would replace the swear word I wanted to use with teams that I hated. When I was a Bulls fan, and I'm still a Bulls fan, when I was watching the Bulls back in the day, the legendary Michael Jordan, whenever they would play the Detroit Pistons, I hated the Detroit Pistons. So somehow, in place of a swear word, I would say, what the Detroit Pistons was that? And then Detroit Pistons became Chicago Cubs, and Deets, you're going to hate me for this, but I love you, brother. Some because became Dallas Cowboys, sometime became New York Giants. And I just would get, those are teams I would get mad at, that I would be mad at. I'd use all of those in place of swear words. And like I said, Shane, I'm trusting you to get this out to the masses on our social media page or pages. If you're watching us on Twitch, that's our question of the day. What are some of your favorite substitute swear words? I had to come back and do that after Dr. K tagged me in that post. Oh my gosh. That fit. That absolutely fit. All right. Oh goodness. Whenever you need a laugh, your significant other can provide the perfect laugh. And I went in the booth and I talked to her, and she says, "You know that fits, right?" I said, "Yes, that fits." And she says, "You know you really have to." I know. But this list is perfect. I'm going to see if I can add to it, make it longer, so I can truly Heath Elam, my buddy from high school, watching on the Facebook page, says, mother, father. A, that's too easy. B, y'all should remember Red Fox used to do that a lot on his television show. Oh, oh, that's terrific. Oh, goodness. Let me stop. Advertise with us, please. Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Game 1 of the 2019 World Series happens tomorrow in Texas as the Washington Nationals face off against the Houston Astros. 8:08 is the pitching time, is the first pitch time. I'm thrown off now by this list, but I love that list. I'm going to try to work them in during the second half of the show. Your calls when we come back. Catch the podcast every day at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on all of your favorite apps. Your calls when we come back. Snowman in the Morning is back for hour number 2 in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Excellent. Oh, you can.
Oh, my goodness. I'm having a ball, and I hope y'all are too. Second half of Snowman in the Morning begins right about now. And I want to tell y'all that the lines are now open. Yes, the line is now open. Call the show 773-672-3208. That's your number, 773-672-3208. That's the new fan line. So I want y'all to call in. Okay? I've had a couple people say they wanted to call in, so I'm giving y'all the opportunity. I can't say I wasn't fair. No, people have been asking all morning, hey, when can I call in and talk some football? Well, now's the time. Now's the time for y'all to call in. The number you need is 773-672-3208. And while we wait for the fans to call in, and I know a couple of them are, I want to speak on something that a friend of mine brought to my attention. And I've looked at the Bears through rose-colored glasses. But after yesterday's performance against the New Orleans Saints, I am very disappointed in the Chicago Bears. I mean, you look at the fact that the Bears put up 25 points, but riddle me this. When did they put those points up? And the offense didn't do anything until late in the fourth quarter when the game was out of reach. The game was clearly out of reach late in the fourth period when the Bears got back-to-back scores. And you have to start up front with the offensive line. The offensive line of the Chicago Bears is atrocious. Okay? Absolutely atrocious. And Mitch Trubisky, coming back from a shoulder injury, which I think is too soon for him to come back, looked like he didn't know where he was throwing, who he was throwing it to, and he just looked lost. He just looked absolutely lost out there. I never thought I would be that disappointed in one of my teams, especially my hometown team. Let's go to the phone lines. Who do I have on the line with me this morning?
Oh, what's up, Mr. Snowman? This is Sharif Ahmed from Texas.
What's going on, my friend? How about those Astros?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I was watching that game, and when DJ LeMahieu hit that home run, I'm like, oh, God. You know? But at the end of the day, you know, the Astros have Murderer's Row as a lineup, and
yeah, they do.
You know, 1 through 6 is pretty lethal, and they came through. And
not to mention they got Murderer's Row as a pitching staff also. When you got go ahead.
Go ahead. My concern is how they're going to manipulate their pitching, because Greinke was at Arizona for a while, and Greinke is a great regular season pitcher. But the thing is when he pitches in the postseason, you know, they jump on him early, and it's a wrap. And you know, I shouldn't say we because I'm not really an Astros fan, but should the Astros go? If the Astros should go Verlander, Cole, Greinke, and then have Verlander pitch Game 3. Or try to jump on these guys 2-0 and put the number 1 and number 2 guy at home, and then have Greinke pitch on the road in Game 3. See, these are the kind of strategies that needs to be looked at, because we don't know what Greinke can bring up.
Yeah.
Because the last time he pitched, if you remembered, he loaded up the bases and walked in the first run.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
But then. He had a strikeout. He had a ground ball, a couple strikeouts, and then the Astros gave him some runs that he can work with, and then everything was good. But that is the only thing, you know, as a baseball fan, how are they going to manipulate the first 3 games? Because the first 3 games are going to be vital. The first 2 games will be vital.
Yeah. Yeah. They could go Cole, like you said. They could go Cole, then Greinke, and then have Verlander open in Washington. And I would suspect that should Verlander start Game 3, he'll oppose Max Scherzer. I have a feeling it'll go Strasburg, then Corbin, and then Scherzer. They want to get Scherzer at home, to get that to get that home field advantage, to get the crowd all psyched up. I'm thinking Scherzer may start Game 3.
I think so too. And what the crazy thing is, I think the line for the over and under for Game 1 is 6.5.
Really?
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It started at 6.5, and I think it's going to go up a little bit more because you're in a hitter's park in Houston.
Yeah, it is.
And the thing is about the Astros, if they jump on you, if they jump on you with that lineup, it's pretty much it's like a mountain of gravel to get back. But it's very interesting to see how they're going to do the pitching matchups, because
it is
right now, you know how it is in sports. If a team is hot going into the playoffs, they're very dangerous.
And what the Dodgers and what the Cardinals didn't figure out, nor the Dodgers for that matter, the Nationals were the hottest team going into the playoffs. They had no business winning that wild card game against Milwaukee.
You're absolutely right. And I think that in the back of the mind of these teams that lost was like, oh, they're the Nationals. They had to come, the situation of firing their manager, getting ready to have a fire sale with their team, that lingered in the back of the mind. But as a true sports fan, like I said before, it doesn't matter what sport. It can be basketball, baseball, football, hockey. If a team is hot going into the playoffs, they're going to ride that momentum. And right now, the Nationals they're saying to themselves, we're playing with house money.
I said that last week during the program. They're playing with house money right now.
And I've been posting on my social media too. Is like the Nationals were the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
And it would be really great. And I know this will never happen, but it would be awesome if they were to come out in one game, just like come out with the Pedro Martinez throwback Expos jerseys. That would be great, but it won't happen.
I know, but that would be awesome for them to pay homage to the Expos doing that. That would be awesome.
Yes, it would be. Well, I'm gonna tell you about these football games, and I want to talk about my Ravens first.
What a game! What a game!
Let me tell you.
I kind of knew the Ravens would go into Seattle and win because we just said in a moment.
Oh.
I did. I picked the Ravens on Friday. When I did my picks on Friday, I picked the Ravens to beat Russell Wilson and the Seahawks for the same reason I picked the Nationals to win the National League. They're playing with house money right now. Think about it. They're playing with house money right now. The concern AFC North still surrounds Pittsburgh and all its drama. Meanwhile, and on another note, it surrounds Cleveland on all its drama because a lot of people picked Cleveland to win that division. No one paid attention to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens are collecting as much house money as they can right now.
I agree. But as a fan, I was watching the game. It was tied all the way up, and I was on pins and needles. And when Peters hit that pick six, I felt a little bit good about myself.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we went on a 27. Was it a 27? Yeah, a 17 unanswered. And when they scooped up that fumble and they took it to the house, I was literally running all over my house. My daughter was taking a nap.
Did you wake up your daughter?
No, sir, I did not.
Good.
And let me tell you something. As a fan, this was a very huge win for us, and we're going into the bye week, and then we got the New England Patriots in our house Sunday night. And let me just tell you the real quick history with the Ravens and Patriots. The one thing is that every game that these guys have played since 2007, when they matched up during the regular season and the playoffs and so on and so forth, all those games are one-possession games. And the biggest quote that I ever heard Bill Belichick say about the Ravens is that this team is built for the long haul.
Yeah.
Which means is that these guys, the Ravens traditionally are warriors. Yes, they might. We could have been 3-3, but you don't want to play. You don't want to play us in November, December in Baltimore. You don't want that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what team it is. So this game is going to – I want to call out the spread before it even comes out in 2 weeks. I honestly think that the Ravens will be favored by 3.5. Just because of the history.
I'm going to say 5 because it's in Baltimore. And I want to say 3 of the last 4 times the Patriots have visited Baltimore, Baltimore has won. And this includes
they have.
This includes the postseason. Remember 2013? Oh, that was in New England. I take that back. That was in New England.
Yes, no. The championship game was in New England, and the Ravens picked them apart. But I'm just saying this. Right now, the Ravens they control their own destiny in the division because now the Browns are a mess. The Bengals are a mess, and the Steelers, unfortunately, with no Ben, and then they lost their backup quarterback, they're a mess too.
Yeah.
But the thing about Pittsburgh is they're going to play with a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to be a tough out.
They are.
And I'm just very happy. I'm so happy that Lamar Jackson, because I get scared when this guy decides to maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
When he tries to weasel his way out of the line. But then once he hits that second level, he runs faster than defensive backs. And the beauty of it is he doesn't fight for extra yards. He gets the yards that he needs and just goes out of bounds.
Yeah. And that's very smart of him. That's very smart of him to do so. I love Lamar Jackson. I've studied him since his days at Louisville. Boy, the Ravens made the best decision of their football lives, especially lately when they decided to put him in the lineup.
And the one thing I do want to say is that on draft day, the Ravens traded out of the first round, and then when he was still available, the Jedi Master Grand Wizard Ozzie Newsome traded back in to get the last pick, and that was his last first-round draft pick ever. So I'm very happy with Lamar. He's starting to now figure it out, and here's the dangerous part. And I know this is going to be at the end of the season and after the Super Bowl, but the Ravens are going to have a lot of money for free agency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, and I'm already foaming at the mouth about it. I don't want to think about next year. But I'm gonna tell you right now,
you still got this year to you still got this year to finish.
This is an amazing. This is, for me as a Ravens fan, it's amazing. We got a big win going to the left coast, getting a win in Seattle. Seattle is one of I would rate Seattle, and you might disagree or you agree with me. I would think that Seattle is probably top 5 toughest stadiums to play in.
Oh yeah. I'm not
about that. Really threw me off was last night's game.
Eagles and Cowboys.
I'm putting my Dallas hate aside, and I'm just going to talk football. Dallas's defense came out and just really, literally, they didn't like in boxing. You want to feel your opponent out.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas just came up and just hit him straight in the mouth.
They did.
And next thing you know, less than 5 minutes and 7 minutes, and Mr. Dietz can probably attribute to this. And like in 7 minutes of the game, it was already 14-0.
Yep. And I had a feeling it was going to go. I had a feeling it was going to go that way. I had a feeling, even though I picked Philadelphia, I should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
It was in It was in Texas. Let me let you go because I got another caller on the line, but I'll have you back on soon, man. All right.
All right. Let me know.
All right. Thank you, partner.
Bye.
Since I'm taking calls, who do I have on the line with me this time?
This is Ty Ray. What's going on?
What's going on with you, brother?
What up? What's up?
Good to have you on the
Monday
show,
morning.
man. Yes, it is.
Good to be here. So what you talking about right now?
I'm talking what I know, and that's football.
Okay, all right.
So let me jump into this.
Mm-hmm.
You being a Detroit Lion fan,
yes,
you had the Vikings by the throat yesterday. What happened?
Okay. All right, we got Snacks. Snacks got hurt.
Yeah.
Slay went out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the run game. If you anybody watched the game and they seen one Snack got out, they knew to run immediately. And they start running the ball.
Yeah.
And when you running the ball, anybody on defense, the defense get tired in the second half. Detroit been having the issue with defensive linemen being hurt all season.
Yeah, they have. They have.
So the thing is, they don't have enough bodies to interchangeable pieces to put in there. And right now, we're not looking strong on the run like we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Until we get healthy, it's going to be a struggle stopping the run. And with Darius Slay going out, and then we get these pass interference calls, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's not a good
crazy
look right now. But I had Minnesota winning the game anyway. I was hoping Detroit could pull it off. I figured Detroit offense got ahead of Minnesota, then they can pull out a close one. It didn't happen. But Chicago lost, so I'm not mad.
Yeah. I've spoken to the Bears briefly. That inept offense needs to get it together, and they need to get it together fast, or that division.
Oh, it's the quarterback.
Yeah, it's. You want to put all the blame on Trubisky? I put the blame on the offensive line. You know what? I'll put the blame where it belongs. Matt Nagy, their coach.
I want to put it on him. How is it when Chase Daniel got in there? They were at least moving the ball. I mean,
I'll give you that.
I think he's overrated. I don't know what it is. I just think he's overrated. I think y'all could do better at quarterback, and y'all putting all y'all faith in him, and I just don't see it happening. With the defense that Chicago have, it's a crying shame and a crime that the offense can't put them in a position to win games.
This is true. This is absolutely true.
Speaking
of being in a position to win games, you wouldn't think the 49ers would be in a position to win yesterday, considering it was a mud bath at FedEx Field, but 3 field goals and they held on.
Man, let's watch the Redskins. I expected to win that game in my sleep. I didn't expect the score to be like that because I put their quarterback and started them in my fantasy, and I benched Matt Stafford, which was dumb on my part.
Why'd you bench Stafford? Stafford was playing the Vikings.
I know, but no, I did it for superstitious reasons.
Okay.
If I started him, I knew he would win. I figured if I benched him, then the Lions would win the game. But it backfired.
Okay.
It backfired.
Okay.
But on my show, I picked Minnesota to win the division. The team that's shocking me out of NFC North is Green Bay. Yeah.
Green Bay.
So I picked Minnesota to win. I think when Minnesota see Green Bay again, they're going to win. I think when it's all said and done, Green Bay, they might have a chance because they got some cupcakes on their schedule. But I still think Minnesota going to win the division. I always said that. I said Detroit is at best third place. But I thought the switch would have been Chicago and Green Bay. But I was going to be Minnesota and Green Bay. I still think Detroit going to be third. With the Chicago offense, I don't see them getting ahead. And we see the Bears on Thanksgiving. So
yeah, we do.
You can mark that up for another L for the Bears.
I don't think so.
Trust me, Brian.
I'm going to be at my in-laws' house watching that. I'm going to be at my in-laws' house watching that game while I'm stuffing my face silly, all right?
No, you might lose your appetite because when they start catching
I won't. No, I won't.
Listen,
I won't lose my appetite for a very good reason. My team won 9-0 yesterday. Okay? In fact, the 2 teams I watched the most won. That's the 49ers and that's the Colts. Okay?
Okay. The Colts,
who did you pick to win?
Surprised.
Who did you pick to win the NFC West? Because I picked the 49ers.
I didn't pick the 49ers to win that.
You should have.
Yeah, you know what? What's funny is
I said all spring the team to watch in the NFC West would be the 49ers.
You know what? I did that the year before, and they had all them injuries and
stuff.
And
injuries killed us. Injuries killed us, man.
Right. So after that last year, I said, nope, I'm not going to put my hopes that high on the 49ers this year. I'm just going to let it ride. I thought Seattle was going to shock the world. Them losing yesterday was a shocker. Consider how they've been playing. But, this any given Sunday, a team that's strong can lose. Like right now, Green Bay is on that high horse, and it's going to come catch up to them. The schedule was mapped out. They're going to let their foot off the gas, and it's going to catch up to them.
No, they better not. That's all I have to say. They better not.
I hope so. I hope so. But, hey, this week, and tonight is a snooze fest, so I would not be watching. I would not be watching Monday Night Football tonight.
Of course, it's the Patriots and the Jets. All right.
Say no more. I got better things to do. I got to prep for my show, and I will not be watching it. I'm gonna get ready for some NBA that kicks off tomorrow. So that's what I'm gonna be doing.
I got my NBA preview tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have fun with that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to join you on that.
I got my NBA preview tomorrow, and I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna put the hint. I'm gonna put the hint out there right now, and y'all are looking at it on the screen and listening along with me. My 2019-2020 NBA preview tomorrow will happen during hour 2. Hour 2 is when I'll have my NBA preview.
So you can't tell us who's gonna win the championship? Who your favorite to win the NBA championship?
Oh, I already got my Eastern and Western Conference champions. I already have those, but y'all will hear it tomorrow during my preview.
Milwaukee and LA Clippers.
Wrong twice. Wrong twice.
Listen, if you say the Lakers, I'm not calling ever again.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell to the no.
It's
as a friend of mine says best, my statement about the Lakers, oh no, hell no to the no.
Man,
no,
I definitely got to call
him.
Listen,
I am not. I will not. I don't care if half the doggone league wants to join the Lakers. That franchise is cursed until they clean house.
No, they only curse until they get LeBron out of there.
Like I said, they're cursed until they clean house. And getting rid of LeBron is exactly what I meant.
He the king, though, right? He the king.
No, that would be Michael Jordan. Okay, let's just.
Hey, I'm a Jordan. I'm somewhat of a Jordan fan. I mean, I respect his greatness, but I'm a bad boy for life. All right.
You know what? The Pistons and the Bulls put on some of the most epic playoff series I ever watched. Period.
Yeah, right, okay. And the best backcourt, hands down, is Dumars and Isaiah Thomas.
I hate Joe Dumars, but love him at the same time. I've always said that. I've always said that, but after watching the 30 for 30 and how they put their franchise, they put that era together, I have nothing but love and respect for the Detroit Pistons because of how they put it together.
You're probably the only person that ever said they hate Joe Dumars other than the fans once he became the president of the Pistons organization. Hey, I love you, Joe. I love you, Joe Dumars. That's my guy.
You got to say it right, Joe Dumars.
Right, but you know what? Hey, it's always Detroit versus everybody.
Oh, Lordy. I gotta go to a break. Get out of here, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow, right. Okay?
3 strikes and I'm out. Talk to you later.
Oh, man. Don't forget to catch Tyree and his NBA preview. I'll have mine tomorrow. Gotta go to a break, but always remember you can catch the podcast of Snowman. You can catch the podcast of Snowman in the Morning on your favorite app at any time after 3 p.m. Eastern time. I got one more guest and then some closing words to wrap up this Monday Spectacular. And the guest I'm going to have a laugh with him too. Back in a flash.
Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Let's immediately go out to the phone, and I welcome my good buddy Ellie to the Monday program. How are you, sir?
Hey, Brian. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You had a great show on Friday, and I am now a fan, and I will be tuned in.
Thank you. I'm sure my co-host would be just as appreciative.
Yeah. Y'all got a great show. Okay, I wanted to get a laugh out of you because you know who's playing tonight.
Yeah, I wonder. Could there be any more of a snooze fest in prime time? Why don't they put reruns of the Waltons on or something? It'd be better than watching this.
The Waltons. Oh my gosh.
Good night, John Boy. We're gonna hear that at the end of the first quarter. All right.
Why did the NFL do this to y'all, man?
No, I don't know. You know what? It's probably not going to be that bad. But I think that the way they played against Dallas, I don't know if it surprised many people, but the way Dallas played last night, it certainly looks like how could they, take the Jets so lightly. But I think if you looked at the way they played against the Eagles or against the Patriots or even against Cleveland. I think that you saw a team that was unprepared. You saw an offensive line that was absolutely unsure of what to do, who to block, and no matter what changes were made during the bye week, it seemed like the teams got worse. It didn't help. So going into the Cowboy game, there was still an unknown with Darnell because he hasn't proven himself at all. He's shown promise, but he definitely showed against Dallas that he came to play, and he was into just about everything you could be into as a quarterback, as far as motivating his team, getting up. The play calling was fast. The tempo was fast, and he just kind of seemed to drag the rest of his teammates. That's very rare to see in a Jet quarterback. I can't remember the last time I saw one do that. Maybe Pennington before he injured his arm. So that was nice to see. However, you're facing now the nemesis for them, and especially in prime time. I mean, they've had some real, blow-ups in prime time against New England when they were expected to perform. The 45-3 in 2010 when they were both tied for first place. And, of course, you have, 49-19. That was in, I believe, the 2012-2011 season.
Yeah.
And then you had, of course, the butt fumble. So there are a lot of things that have happened in prime time against New England that have not been good.
Does any of that change tonight?
Well, it's hard to say how good New England's defense is. You look at the offenses that they've played. Miami can't score. Buffalo, I don't care what anybody says. Buffalo is not that good of an offensive team. Josh Allen still, in my mind, he can run and he's athletic, but he's not a guy that you can depend on consistently to win games with his arm. Okay, that might be a little harsh. I mean, he has won some games in the fourth this year, but again, Buffalo's beaten like the Bengals and the Jets, and in the Jet game they really was due because some of the Jets, mostly got injured and they, blow a 16-point second half lead.
Yeah.
It's not like they dominated them from the start. But they did play they did play New England very tough. Okay, and that came down to a one possession game.
Yeah.
Now even the Giants played them tough the other night, and that was a game until the fourth quarter, and then it kind of got away from them. So I'm not sure. People talk about how dominant this New England defense is. They haven't played many good offenses, okay? And, they're going to get their test later on in the season. Their schedule starts to get a little bit harder. They got to play Baltimore. They got to, they got to go on the road and play some teams that are, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I know they, even in the NFC, they got to play some tough teams where they got to play Dallas. They got to play the Eagles. So it's their soft part of the schedule, playing the Giants, playing the Redskins, playing the playing the Jets now, getting them out of the way twice. Playing the Dolphins, they're going to get them out of the way. So their schedule is going to get a little bit harder. I know they got to play Kansas City too. New England's their defense is going to start to get tested now. So we're really going to start to see how good they are. Now tonight, do I think that the Jets will get blown out? No. Do I think that they will win? No. I think, Jet fans can go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the sewer in like the blink of an eye.
Especially if you listen to Joe Beningo and never a Jets game down, which I happen to do a lot. I've fallen in love with those two, listening to them on the radio. They're hilarious.
I love them too. I really do. Especially Beningo, because he speaks for just about everybody. But I think that's true. I think, but you gotta calm down if you're a fan, if you're a Jet fan, because look, after the Eagle game, there was everybody, and I was disappointed in how the coach came out and the guys didn't look prepared. That's what I was really concerned about. Is they didn't look like they were prepared to run the game plan that he has, that he put out. The system that he has that was supposed to work in Miami and was supposed to be this off. Nobody seemed to be getting it. It didn't seem to be working for the personnel. And then here comes Darno, and then all of a sudden things look a lot better. Okay. But that doesn't mean that this is a playoff team, and that doesn't mean that they're in position to challenge New England for the division. And so those two things need to be quashed right now. All right. What you need to expect tonight, if you're a reasonable person, is you need to expect the Jets to come out and be prepared and to attack the weaknesses that New England has shown and be able to put pressure on them both offensively and defensively to where this game is competitive going into the the final minutes of the fourth quarter.
Mark Kelly joining me to break down tonight's Monday Night Football matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. And as soon as I'm off the air tomorrow, I will be catching the tail end of Beningo and Robert to see what the attitude is. It's going to depend. It's going to depend on how this game goes.
Oh, well, of course. Wouldn't expect it to be any different.
It's going to depend on how this game goes.
And let me ask you a question. You watching the game the other night with Houston and the Yankees?
Yes.
Well, I wrote an article on a Worldwide Sports Radio Network site about it's like the Tale of Two Cities, the best of times, the worst of times. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Yankees have lost more walk-off games than any team in Major League Baseball history, but that's because they played in the most. All right. And the Astros have won 10 walk-off games. That's the second most in Major League history. And Altuve's home run, with the quickness of it, and then the look on Chapman's face, that was really classic, and it really signified where the Yankees, how the Yankees expected once LeMahieu hit that home run, that they expected to win that game, and that and usually in Yankee history, like the games against Arizona, where they were down to their last strike and 2 runs down, and Young Kim couldn't hold it, and then the Yankees won those games. Even though they didn't eventually win the series. But that's kind of when they started to fall down, was that Game 7 against Arizona.
Yeah.
Since then, it hasn't been the same. They've only won one World Series. And the fact that they didn't appear in the World Series this whole decade for the first time since World War I is an amazing stat.
It is. It is. Well, I said something earlier on the show, and I said something last week. And I credit, I'll say it again, I credit Bob Wischusen for this thought. But if you think about it, it's true. 3 years ago, the Yankees had chance after chance after chance to get front-line starting pitching, and they didn't go after him.
Yeah, but, I think that the game is changing in that way, almost. Where you're seeing guys now, they go with Chad Green to start, games and then just throw to their bullpen.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that before. I don't know how I feel about that as a strategy at all. I think that is a very bad thing to do to your bullpen over the
It
length of
is.
the season.
It is.
And even in a postseason, when you're dealing with a limited number of pitchers and back-to-back days, to put that much pressure on your bullpen every day is really hard. And you saw how that affected them this series.
Yeah.
Game 2 is when things really switched, when the Yankees gave up the lead. Gave up the game-tying home run in Game 2. And then once that game got pushed to extra innings and the Yankees had to use guy after guy after guy after guy, that kind of that weakened them a little bit, and then affected them really the rest of the series.
It really did. It really did. I'm of the old school thinking that frontline starting pitching, guys that will eat up innings, give you 7, give you 6.5 or whatever, will get you through a playoff series. Houston proved it. Washington proved it. That's why they're playing.
Exactly. Who's in a World Series? Gee, Washington with the 5.38 bullpen ERA, and Scherzer and Strasburg. We don't have to talk about Houston starters. They know what they got. So, yeah, you still need the horses to give you a good 6, 7, well, not even good, like a good 7, 8 innings in the postseason.
Right, and this is why the Dodgers failed in the division series. I said this a year ago. I said this 2 years ago on the program. No one believed me until they started seeing the Dodgers falter in playoff series after playoff series. And this is a team that went to the World Series. Exactly. And this is a team, and this is a team that had gone to the World Series 2 consecutive years. But if you rewind the tape back to 2015, the Dodgers have always had this problem.
Yep.
They've always had this problem. It cost them against the Mets in 2015, against the Cubs in 2016. They lose 2 World Series back-to-back, 17 and 18 against Houston and then Boston. And then they lose the division series on their home field. Except for 2016, and I'm a research man like you are, except for 2016, every elimination game that the Dodgers have lost, they have lost at home.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, even losing to the Mets in 2015. When you have, facing DeGrom, but they had that lead. They had a lead late in that game. They couldn't hold it. And, they get off to a great start in the first inning. They got Walker Buehler on the mound, who's really very good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He's a throwback. I like that kid. I really do.
I do too.
And then you put this remind me of like the Expos in '81. It was like kind of like a reverse with Steve Rogers coming in the 9th inning,
right?
The home run to Rick Monday. Okay, he wasn't a bullpen guy. Rogers was one of their starters. You put him in that position, it's an unknown for him. Even though he's a good pitcher, he's not warm yet. And especially back then it was freezing there.
Yeah, it was.
So you put Kershaw in that position. Why? 2-run lead. Why do you need to put him in that position?
Especially with the Nationals' big boppers coming up in that 8th inning.
Right, and then are you not going to go back to him in games 1 or 2? I mean, obviously I know it's only 1 inning, but you don't want to give him any sort of semblance of that postseason past,
None.
And look what happened. And then in extra innings, going with Kelly in extra inning, I didn't have a problem with that. But once he walked the leadoff batter, you had to realize that
you had to go get him.
Yeah. So and look, they were so much better than that. That wasn't just an upset. That was something that shakes up organizations when you lose series like that, because the Nationals were not in their league. They weren't.
No.
The Dodgers should have went right through them. That was almost as bad as the Mets losing to them in 1988. Where the talent difference was so drastic.
And I think the Dodgers wound up winning that. I think that series went the distance, and the Dodgers won that in California. They won Game 7 in Los Angeles. But it's like you said, the Dodgers won 106 games. Washington won 96 games. Okay, and no one expected Washington to win 96 games, B, for the Nats to get to the playoffs, and C, get through the wild card game. They had no business getting through the wild card game.
I know, they were losing in the 8th inning in that game. and and not only that, but they started off season 19-31, so they played pretty good going forward here. But you look why they played pretty good. You know, the National League outside of the Braves and the Dodgers was very mediocre.
Yeah.
All right, and you know the Mets were you know they won what 80-something games. You know even the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Padres, they all hovered around 500 or worse.
Yeah,
all year.
They did.
And especially in that division where you're playing the Marlins 19 times, the Mets 19 times. You know, they lost 12 out of 19 games to the Mets. You can't do that and be a very good team. And
yeah, so true.
You know, and they did. So, but there are points where the Nationals can beat you if you don't pay attention. And the Dodgers didn't pay attention to what the Nationals did well all year, which was rally against bullpens.
Someone said this on a program, and it's so true, and it describes Clayton Kershaw's 7th inning and 8th inning against the Nationals. The first 3 pitches, filthy smoke. The next 2 pitches, flat out smoked.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the 2 pitches that led off the 8th inning.
Yep.
Why do you have Clayton Kershaw in that 8th inning with the Nationals' big hitters coming up who were starting to see the ball very well?
I don't know. You don't put a starter in that position. That's not used to coming out of the bullpen. That's not used to that type of. You know, that would have been a perfect time to throw Kelly in there if you wanted to. You know, I mean, if you like Kelly was a difference last year between the Red Sox winning and losing. He was clutch all postseason last year.
He was
a lot better than Kimbrel was. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I mean, me and you could talk forever about why about the Dodgers losing, you know. And I believe me, I got no love. I got no love for the Dodgers or the Nationals. And it's going to be a rough World Series. I would have liked to see the Braves and the Yankees in the World Series. I thought, you know, if the Dodgers couldn't have made it, you know, I would have loved to see the Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. But,
right.
You know, the Astros are.
But the Yankees cost themselves. Again, and this is how we'll close, the Yankees cost themselves a spot in the World Series by not having the horses to get you through 6 or 7 innings. 7 innings.
Well, yep. And it kind of caught up to them. And you looked at when they were successful in the series, the 2 games that they won, they got good starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that, I said it earlier in the program, folks, that's your difference. That is your difference. Mark Kelly joining me here on the program this morning. I love you, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Love you too, Brian. Be good, brother.
Astros and Nationals will kick off the 2019 World Series on Tuesday night. Game 1 scheduled to start at 8:08 p.m. I mean, I got 8:08, 8:07. It's some weird time, but it's 8:08 from what I'm seeing for tomorrow. Game 1 of the World Series. And also coming tomorrow, along with the preview of the World Series, I'll have my NBA preview. That'll occur during hour 2 of the program. Now for some closing thoughts. And I want to say something that I've been saying for a long time, and it still holds true. Moving in silence. One of my dearest friends, always wants to, one of my dearest friends loves the fact that he is building his empire, and I'm speaking of the Dogfather, Robert Cobb, and the folks that troll his accounts, that troll his pages, are folks that used to work for him. I got the same issue. I got people that used to work for me wondering how I'm doing. And Robert gave me a term for that. He said that that I'm living rent-free in their heads. I didn't understand it at the time, but I do now. I am living rent-free in their heads. Because I'm taking up more time from them doing what they're supposed to do, than them affecting me doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm already doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm already doing that. But the fun is that when I continue to push forward and those in my inner circle continue to push forward while these people continue to obsess over what I'm doing and to obsess over what my family's doing, those are the ones that are stupid, not me. I have learned to grow without them. Did it take me a while? Oh, yeah, it did. It did. But at the same time, I am not going to let them live rent-free in my head. And this is going to be the last time I speak about this. I've said it several times before, but now I can do it without saying any names because they know who they are, and I know they're listening, and I know they're thinking of every negative comment that they can. Hell, I tried to call the show today, and I wouldn't have them. I'm not going to have any negativity around me. I've dealt with that enough as it is. Still getting over some things. Still doing some things. But you know what? I have the most wonderful person in the world by my side. I married her. And I knew I made the right decision when I did. When you have support like that, there ain't no way you can lose. And I'm not going to lose. And nor is she. Period. No way we can lose with that kind of support and that kind of attitude. So to those people that want to see me fail, keep watching, because I won't. Let me correct my sentence. Keep watching, because we won't. When I say we, I'm talking about the people that are within my circle. And thanks to you, Dogfather, for giving me that term of someone living rent-free in my head or me living rent-free in their head. And I know a few people I'm living rent-free in their heads, and I'm going to do that for a lifetime. The great thing is, every day that I wake up, every day that the Lord gives me another shot to chase my dreams and make them all come true. And I'm going to. And I'm going to. I don't care what people say anymore. I can say that with a smile and can say that with much conviction. I don't care what people think about me, what they say about me. It's like the old adage. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If people follow that rule, we'd be in a much better position. The world will be in a much better position. This country will be in a much better position. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And by the way, I got a friend who wondered where I got this cup from. It's pretty easy. Wife found it for me. And it serves as a daily reminder. And I hope this serves as a daily reminder for y'all. Chase your dreams, catch them, and then chase the next ones. Catch the podcast every day beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on your favorite app. Tomorrow I'll have the preview of the 2019-2020 NBA season, and I'll give you my picks of who will come out of the East, who will come out of the West, who the MVP will be, and it's not who y'all think it is. Until tomorrow, I say unto you, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. I am, and I all are too. And I'm going to have fun with the NBA preview tomorrow. I'm going to shock a lot of people with my picks. Got to get out of here. Till tomorrow. Come on out.
Armada!